Hello all, it's your girl Julia here. So, buddy of mine showed me a YouTuber slash Twitch streamer. I'm not sure what they call them, their Twitchers maybe. Essentially, they're really good at cross-dressing. I want to say they go by the name of Finster, but the S is replaced with a 5, something like that. So there was a fun little video they did where they wanted to see if this person was transgender. I thought, let's have a little fun with this as well. See if these transgender tests are bogus, or if maybe there's actually a little something to them. Without further ado, let's begin. I have 3 of them we're going to go through. That way we're a little more scientific about this. Okay, so this first one right here is from Mind Diagnostic. I've never heard of this website before, but I have a feeling I've probably never heard of any of these websites. Unless, like, the Mayo Clinic is doing one of these. Find out if you have gender dysphoria. Take this mental health test. It's quick, free, and you'll get your confidential results instantly. Good. I think the idea of me making this a video is going to make it less confidential, but oh well. Let's see, by clicking I agree below, you acknowledge that this is not a diagnostic instrument. Yeah. And is only to be used by you if you are 18 years or older. You agree that this application is for information purposes only and is not intended to replace consultation with your doctor or mental health professional. Okay, that's very good. I like the sound of this. Mind Diagnostic sponsors, partners, and advertisers disclaim any liability, loss, or risk incurred as a consequence, directly or indirectly, from the use and application of this test. If you are in need of immediate assistance, call 911 or the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Well, that went from 0 to 100 in like 10 seconds. Okay, well, I agree to that. I'm not going to let this rule my life. I mean, I've already made the decision. I just want to see it. It knows my decision. Answer the following questions based on your experience in the past 12 months. References to gender, female or male, refer to the gender you were assigned at birth. Tap continue to start. Alright. I'll bite. Do you think of yourself as transgender? Yes! Always! Has filling out your gender on a form caused you to be upset or made you pause and think? Yeah. It's a little more confusing now because when it comes to legal documents, I mean, my name is now legally Julia, so that's fine, but if I go to the doctor's office, should I answer as male because I still got male jingly bits, or female because that's the hormones I have? Have you thought about being the opposite gender? Yeah. Instead of your birth-assigned gender or its opposite, have you considered yourself to be non-binary or genderqueer? Okay, I've heard of the term non-binary and genderqueer before, but I'm not too familiar with what genderqueer is. I'm gonna guess if it's like other things in the queer section, it's gonna be more general than non-binary. I mean, I've always been very binary in that case, so, never. Have you been treated as the opposite gender by your family or friends? Well, only recently, but, yes, very frequently. Have you had a feeling that you would be better off living your life as the opposite gender to the one you were assigned at birth? Well, in the past 12 months, yeah. Have you made an appearance as the opposite gender in public? A few times. I don't really have the confidence for that. It is easy to kind of hide half of your face with a mask, and, well, nobody really knows me. Plus, everybody's seen so many weird things in 2020. What looks like a man wearing a dress is not going to be as crazy as that. Have you had a feeling that the gender you were assigned at birth isn't your real gender? Well, I did for a while. It wasn't until like the age of 12, basically when puberty was first starting, that's when it really got to a point of, am I really happy like this? It just kind of expounded from throughout the years. If I had that intense dysphoria back when I was 12, I probably would have been Julia since I was maybe 18, but I don't know. I feel like the world wasn't accepting at that point. And I had no idea what transgender was up until about 5 years ago. I had the feeling that the gender you were assigned at birth isn't your real gender. Phew. In all honesty, I have not. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Are you ever the opposite gender in your dreams? I wish. This was one of the reasons I picked up lucid dreaming, because I wanted to test out what it was like to be a woman in my dreams. But unfortunately, I was never able to do that. I guess maybe the problem is I always thought about it so much when I was awake that I never really had the time to do it for when I was asleep. I definitely had a lot of dreams of cross-dressing, but never as the opposite gender. Even to this day, not so much. I mean, in my dreams, it's just me, in first-person mode. The gender you were assigned at birth caused you the feeling of distress or emotional pain. I'm gonna say sometimes, because in all honesty, being a man, you have to never be able to cry, you have to put on a brave face every day. And being a quote-unquote strong man is just somebody who can deal with everything, but doesn't say a single thing. Women are the only one that are allowed to break down and cry whenever something really bad happens. That's getting a little too deep. I'm trying to make this a fun video. What's going on, Julia? Have you done anything to alter your legal sex? For example, updated driver's license. Yeah. In fact, yesterday I just took care of both of those, the driver's license and the bank account. You consider yourself to be the same gender as that which you were assigned at birth? Not anymore. Do you find that you have to make an effort to present as the gender you were assigned at birth? Not really. I mean, I've had about 25 years of practice. I've only maybe had about a year's time stacking up all this, as well as the times I was questioning myself to being a woman. I have a lot to catch up on. So, no. Feels like I kind of had to make an effort to be a woman, but, well, the hormones are working their magic. Do you consider yourself to be the opposite gender to that which you were assigned at birth? Well, it says in the past 12 months, so, yeah. Have you been unsure what your gender, having a sense that you might be both a man, a woman, or neither? Not really. This concept of gender is still pretty new to me. I mean, basically, I was told I was a man my whole life, and I went to the boys' room. That's about the extent of it, really. Well, that and what happens during puberty, but, How content are you with your birth-assigned gender? The best way I could describe being male as opposed to female is being male, I was just complacent. Like, I wasn't really happy about it, but I wasn't really disturbed about it. Being a woman, though, I felt very happy about it. And that's really the main reason I wanted to keep up this transition, because, in all honesty, I feel great. I wish I could have done this sooner. Of course, I don't really think I could have done it sooner, but oh well. Have you been unsure what your gender, having a sense that you might be both a man, a woman, or neither? Not really. At your job or at school, have you presented as the opposite gender? I kind of dress rather non-binary-like. I mean, I feel like my work uniform is kind of back and forth, like it could work for male or female. There was another term I was going to use instead of non-binary, but I can't seem to think of it right now. I don't really have the courage to really do that either. Just kind of hoping for these to be real first. I mean, there's something there, but I'm not this big yet. Have you felt peer or societal pressure to be or to behave like the gender? Yes. Very much. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice that I can be emotional every now and again. It's good to have breakdowns, and well, I'm starting to notice I kind of actually had some feminine qualities for a long time now. So yes. Have you dressed as the opposite gender in the privacy of your own home? Yeah. Have you had a feeling you belong more to the opposite gender? It's not so much I felt like I really belonged as one gender or the other, it's just I feel much better as a woman. It makes me happy. I look in the mirror at myself and I'm like, I'm pretty now. I like this. But feeling like one gender or the other, I mean, how does anybody know what feeling like a man or feeling like a woman feels like? I mean, stereotypically, I guess feeling like a man is like I just chopped down 500 trees. I cut off my finger and I didn't shed a single tear. Haha. While being a woman, it's more like, yeah, my makeup is running. These are the stereotypes, people. These are not what I believe. So, have you had a feeling you belong more to the opposite gender? I guess, occasionally. Have you had a feeling of not sharing much in common with either gender? I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Have you considered hormone replacement therapy so that your body might transition physically to the opposite gender? What do you think? Do your visible sex organs, for example, vagina, penis, breasts, make you dislike your body? It depends on the day for the most part, but yeah, very much. Have you been regarded as the opposite gender by people you haven't met before? Yeah, I wish. Not so much yet. People are still kind of calling me sir at the checkout line and stuff like that, and quite frankly, it's bringing me down. Have you considered an operation so that, yes. Yes! Does it feel natural to use the public restroom for the gender you were assigned as birth? I mean, yeah, that's the only bathroom I've been using for my whole life. I feel like if I were going into the women's restroom at this point, people are gonna freak out. Sometimes feel more like one gender and at other times more like the other. Sure. If you were to ask me this before the transition, I'd give you a hard yes. It was the weirdest thing. Occasionally all I had to do was just cross-dress like, I don't know, once a week, once a month for like 10, 15 minutes, and I was content with myself. In fact, I would even kind of laugh. It's just like, I'm happy I don't have to wear this in public all the time. And this is in addition to the makeup, and the lipstick, the mascara, and all that other crazy stuff. Now, though, I just feel a lot more feminine, and I like it. I'm just going to go with frequently because, I don't know, I still love manly things. Action movies. Violent video games. Rock and roll, stuff like that. I'm gonna maybe bump it down sometimes. Would you like a copy of the results to send to your email? No. Strong indication of gender dysphoria. Ooh. No, go back. That is kind of nice that they're giving me options. It's just like, hey, you look like you have gender dysphoria. Why don't you talk to a therapist? Already have. Thank you very much. So let's see what we got. Indicative of gender dysphoria 0 to 80. Not indicative of gender dysphoria 81 to 135. And I'm 76. And I like how it even tells you to chat with a counselor. The results indicate that you may be experiencing gender dysphoria. Well, a little bit. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's see now. I'm not gonna lie, that felt like a rather comprehensive test. I mean, 25 questions, like, wow. Some of them were a bit of head scratchers, and happier if you had the primary or secondary sex characteristics of the opposite gender. For example, if you consider procedures to physically alter your
We're gonna
sexual
go on to our
characteristics. Next one. Psych experiencing distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, given the disconnect your experience between your natural gender and I wasn't too sure if I could actually do this one. Okay, so instead of the last 12 months, this one is actually the last 6 months, so even shorter. I've been on hormones for 9 months, so yeah, this should be interesting. Do you feel your gender identity is at odds with your biological sex? Yes, I believe I do. Do you dislike your genitals and secondary? Yes. Yes. Take it away. I don't want it anymore. Give it to a nice, handsome trans man. At least it'll go to good use there. Would you be happier if you had the primary? Yes. I should probably finish the question first. Would you be happier if you had the primary or secondary sex characteristics of the opposite gender? For example, have you considered procedures to physically alter your sexual characteristics? Yes and yes. Do you have a desire to be the other gender or some alternative gender different? Yes. Do you wish that people in your life would treat you the same way they treat males? If you're assigned gender female, wait, let me make sure I'm reading this right, okay. Do you wish that people in your life would treat you the same way as they treat males if your assigned gender is female, or females if your assigned gender is male? Kind of confusing, but I'm gonna say yes, like, people are still calling me sir, refer to me as he, and it's bringing me down. Are you experiencing distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, given the disconnect your experience between your natural gender and your expressed preferred gender? Honestly, not really. I mean, it's just who I am. It's like how some people have a big nose, have white hair, or something like that. It's just an odd characteristic, and, well, I know some people are going to be accepting of it, and some aren't, but it's not really getting in the way. I mean, I will admit the medication at times gets me a little lightheaded, and sometimes wearing the work shirt gets kind of painful because it gets kind of sensitive around here. So let's see, enter the text above to make sure you're human. 4BZ. Okay. Enter your email below to receive the... no, I do not want to see it. Remedy Health Media will use contact information you provide to this form. No. Okay, let's see what you got. Whoa! Your score, strong indication of gender dysphoria. That's a big one. Very big. Your answers suggest a strong indication that you are experiencing symptoms common among people diagnosed with gender dysphoria. However, this quiz is not meant to be a substitute for a proper diagnosis from a healthcare professional. If you have concerns, schedule an appointment with your doctor or mental health professional now. Okay. At least this one had different questions, but what was that, like 6? It's kind of boring. This one, when I looked ahead on it, looked a lot more professional. IDRlabs.com. In fact, the video I saw that inspired this video, I'm pretty sure they used the same exact test. So let's see, Transgender Aptitude Test. One of the new forms in the culture war between right and left. Ugh. Is the status of transgender people in society. A marginalized issue for years, the status of transgender people is now being discussed in primetime talk shows and treated in major Hollywood movies. I'd be kind of curious to see some of those movies now. Based on data from the Pew Research Center, I have no idea what Pew stands for, this test will determine your attitude to transgender issues on the basis of the matters that currently divide the public. I feel like this is less a quiz about being transgender and more about popular transgender issues. Okay, 62% transgender sympathy and 38% trans skeptic. So I don't believe in myself. Okay. Now, since that wasn't necessarily a transgender quiz, I do actually have one more. This one I took already because I just wanted to see how bogus it was, but I'll try to make it seem like I'm taking this for the first time. Casey Blake. I wonder if that's the name of the woman on the cover there. Alright, I'm a transgender quiz. Let's take it and see what we got. I was assigned male at birth. What gender do you believe is yours? In all honesty, I'm going to say close to female. I mean, until I get my jingly bits taken off and until I could get rid of all this excess hair. But I mean, seriously, I can't stand it. I feel like I'm not necessarily totally female just yet. If everyone referred to you as female, how would you feel about it? I would love it. Even the few people that do refer to me as female, I'm just kind of like, they did it. It makes me happy. Do you believe you are transgender? Yes. Do you ever experience gender dysphoria, the feeling your internal gender does not match your physical gender? To some degree. Yeah. I would very much say so. To be real here, like, I've never been fond of the jingly bits. It's very annoying when it gets hot out, and sometimes it just doesn't sit right, and it's hard to adjust without making it look like you're pleasuring yourself. And in all honesty, it just kind of annoys me how much it's easy to hurt. Are you considering Yes. I want to permanently transition. If you could change your gender from male to female or female to male without any problems, but could never change back, would you? That is actually a really important question. One that I feel like all transgender people should consider. For the most part, though, I'd say yes. That was really the main reason I didn't start transitioning any sooner. I mean, the first one is lack of knowledge, and well, I didn't really think I could actually do it, even when I did have the knowledge. And before, it was just kind of like, I was content with just a little bit of cross-dressing here and there, but it got more intense. It's gotten to a point where instead of just wishing I could be a woman for a week, I'd be perfectly content with being a woman for the rest of my life. And so far, I have no regrets. Well, I just wish I could have done it sooner, but I've already said that. What kind of name would you like to be called? Feminine. Call me Julia, please. Looks like you might be transgender. You're considering transitioning, but the decision is up to you. If you're in need of help, find an array of professional links below. Alright. Well, I think that was a bit of an education. Until next time, be yourself, no matter who that is.